Alright, on this video I will be talking about Module 3. Module 3 we're going to be talking about ethics and critical thinking, argumentation. And in this video that is going to be broken up into 5 different sections. First the argument, what that consists of, and then we'll get into critical thinking and desires. From there, fact versus opinion, and the tools of a critical thinker, and finally Socrates. So let's start with the argument. So basically, in an argument, it's a discussion between two or more people, and basically there's a couple of things you need to have a good, concise argument. First of all, you're going to have your premise, your claim that you're making. Every argument has an issue. You can't just be arguing about nothing. Obviously, there has to be an issue, a topic for this discussion. And when people use the word argue, they have this vision of two people yelling at each other, and that's not the case at all. An argument is a discussion where people are basically debating on one topic, and they have two different point of views, two different sides, and you're trying to get your side across while the other person's trying to get theirs across. So let's see, I guess once we have with the argument, of course, you're going to have to come up with your evidence for your premise, for your argument. You gotta come up with evidence so it's clear what it is you're trying to state. So when you have your different topics here, or your one topic with your different pieces of evidence that you provide, you come to a conclusion to your argument, which basically is the main statement. The one thing that you are trying to clearly state, prove, or have them agree to your argument. And do the conclusion. From there, the module is going to move on to critical thinking and desiring. Basically, in this this part of the module, it wants to make you aware of how desires can affect your critical thinking. Your desires. So basically what it's saying is, don't allow what you want. You might want something, but as a critical thinker using reason, you can't allow your desires, your wants to influence your process of thinking, and you can't allow that to influence the outcome of your actions. As a critical thinker, you must set aside your desires. Alright, so from there, portion C gets into fact versus opinion. Very important to know the difference between facts and opinion. Here it states that a fact is a claim on how things really are, something that objectively is true about the world and has evidential support, whereas an opinion, a view, judgment, or appraisal formed in the mind about a particular matter. So basically, everyone has opinions, and as a critical thinker and in an argument, you should always allow your opposition or the other people to have their opinions. You should never actually use those opinions to influence your decisions or the outcome, the conclusion of your argument. Use facts and have your own opinions, and together as critical thinkers, whoever is a part of this discussion, this argument, everyone should be allowed to input their opinions, but never mistake that those opinions aren't facts, and that fact should only be used to come to your conclusion. Alright? Once we get past opinion and facts, we come to critical thinking tools. Here we have a lot of different tools to use in your critical thinking. We have reason. First of all, your claim. You have to know what your claim is. What is it you're stating? The reasons, support it, with facts. Your conclusion, which is going to bring everything together. It all comes together. Here it is. This is what I'm trying to get you with. And another thing is we want to make sure is we know what ambiguity is. Ambiguity is when you say something that's not clear. It can be taken one way or another way. And as a critical thinker, you never want to allow someone to think something differently than what you're clearly trying to state. So you must not be ambiguous in your statements. Be clear, concise, to the point, so that no one can misinterpret what it is you're trying to say. Then we get into assumptions. Assumptions, it's something that you assume without having any factual evidence to support it. And unfortunately, a lot of us assume a lot of things. And I believe in the module it says that we as critical thinkers must know what assumptions are okay and which ones we should reject. So it doesn't say that assumptions are bad, just that we need to understand which ones we're going to use in our argument and which ones we should not allow part of it. Alright, from there it gets into fallacies. Fallacies, to break it down, is a false truth. So something that I or someone else could say that sounds to be pretty on it, you use it in your argument, but the fact is, if you look into it, it's not true. People could use these different fallacies. And there's many different types, so let me break that down for you real quick. There are subjective fallacies, appeal to pity, appeal to belief, two wrongs fallacies, false dilemma. So there's many different fallacies, but basically in the end all of the fallacies are trying to get you to believe them even though that person knows it's not the truth. Somehow they're trying to appeal to you through different words that might confuse you or to get you to pity for them. But anyways, fallacy is a fallacy. You shouldn't use them, and if you see someone else using them, point it out to them, because they are obviously not being critical thinkers and are not. Anyways, fallacy should just be avoided. Lastly, let's talk about Socrates, a father of philosophy and a pioneer of what we call critical thinking and life of reason. He lived between the 5th century BCE, and unfortunately, after many years of teaching, he was put to death by his own people, and instead of leaving, he fought for reason and decided to take the punishment that was given to him. And that, in a nutshell, my friends, is Module 3. And I want to leave you with this thought. The question. The question is, I had it. The question was, write it down. I should have wrote it down. Give me a second.